And you'll probably at least see some little plant matter in there, and maybe we'll find some other stuff moving around.
It's another day of learning at Sturgeon City, an environmental education center on Wilson Bay in Jacksonville.
Get it focused here a little bit and see if I can find anything for you.
It's a unique setting with a special purpose. Sturgeon City is housed in the former wastewater treatment plant.
Built very similar time to the base, Camp Lejeune and the other bases in this area, and so population boomed. It never really kept up with capacity like it should have, and so the effluent that was going out into this bay, it was discharged directly into Wilson Bay here, wasn't technically, treated as properly as it should be, so it polluted this bay and pretty much killed it off completely. And so the idea was bring life back to the bay, utilize this closed down plant to learn from our past mistakes and educate future generations to make sure that they don't make those same mistakes and that they appreciate this great, beautiful access that we have to the water here.
The combination of raw sewage and pollution turned Wilson Bay into a toxic and essentially dead body of water in the 1980s and 1990s. Bacteria counts were so high, fishing and swimming were prohibited.
You're allowed 200 organisms per 100 mLs of water for recreational uses, and we had about 35 to 70,000, so yes, it was close to recreational commercial uses.
Public pressure and federal environmental laws changed that.
You had a council that then, when pressed to this, they said it's our moral obligation to try to help clean up Wilson Bay.
It's taken years, but Wilson Bay is alive again. It's also a living laboratory for effective environmental restoration. A new wastewater treatment plant was built. Natural habitats were restored. You can see fish swimming near the shore.
And a lot of times restoration projects will happen. People invest a lot of time and money and effort, like here in Wilson Bay, and there's not always the opportunity to go back and figure out what went well, what's worked, how the different restoration goals have been met.
Now, scientists want to find out what's happening.
We're interested in the mud because the mud lets us measure microbial processes that are going on in these habitats. So by measuring the mud, by collecting these mud samples, bringing them back to the lab and running them through our instruments, we're able to ultimately get at how the microbes that live in and around the oyster reefs and the salt marshes are removing nitrogen from those systems. And then that nitrogen in turn has impacts on the algae populations.
The microbes and other creatures that researchers find living in the mud are an indication of how well natural ecosystems are continuing to clean up Wilson Bay. Oysters clean the water. Oyster reefs provide habitat for microbes that remove excess nitrogen. Nitrogen is delivered through stormwater runoff, and too much nitrogen leads to rapid algae growth. That makes for poor water quality.
We found that the restored marsh is particularly effective at removing extra nitrogen. So all of the habitats are removing nitrogen, but the restored marsh in particular is able to remove nitrogen faster than those other habitats.
It also has a bubble level back here and a series of adjustments so we can make sure that we've got this again in the exact same position every time and that our measuring device is perfectly level.
Scientists are also studying whether the shoreline is growing or receding.
So once we have this established, we kind of go through and make sure all the pins are making good contact with the surface sediment.
This device is a surface elevation table.
So we would measure this distance, and it's changes in this distance that we can measure to millimeter level accuracy. And we have multiple measures. We got 9 measures here. We would put another 9 pins on that side. After we measured these 2, we would pick it up, rotate it 90 degrees, and we would get another 2 readings this way. So now we've got a lot of measures over this approximate square meter area.
Marshes are important not only as habitat, but also for preventing shoreline erosion.
This change in surface elevation is due to 2 processes. One is the trapping of the sediments and building from above, sediments coming from above. The other process is below ground root production and building up from below.
North Carolina Sea Grant is funding the research on Wilson Bay. The findings will help guide more coastal restoration projects.
This marsh system is a primary example of why we want good, healthy coastal ecosystems. We want to make certain they're keeping up with sea level rise. We want to make certain they're providing services like protecting infrastructure back behind these marshes. But it is habitat. It is truly habitat for a variety of species.
Absolutely. I mean, and we have a long way to go still, and a lot of other projects we have in mind for this facility, and hope that it will continue to grow and expand into the future so that we can continue to reach people for years to come.